What's good, Bully World? This is Zeb, your host, Bully Talk with Zeb Pitts. And today we got a brand new episode of Bully Talk with Zeb Pitts. I'm very excited to bring the show back. It's been a while, been almost over 2 years since I had a show like this. And right now I saw it as a perfect opportunity to bring it back, because of the climate that we have in today in the bully world, whereas you have people who are involved with the bully breed overseas. That way, when I'm not able to get to them, this is the best way I can get the interviews done and bring you into the world, bring them into my world, and vice versa. So I'm very excited for that to go down. I'm looking forward to the interview. And today, my special guest is none other than Andrea Selvaggi. He is the owner, operator of the EBKC, and momentarily we're going to bring him on so we can chop it up with him. Right now, I'm about to call him up, hit him up, see, and get him to call in. But right now, like I said, very excited. We're about to bring him on at this time. Andre, how you doing?
Hey, Zeb.
How you
doing,
brother?
Your side, and good afternoon on my side.
Good morning. You finally got through all the technical difficulties and finally got you through, man. I'm very excited, man. How you doing this morning?
Yeah, it's 3:24 p.m. on my side of the world at the moment. So
yeah, I was just explaining to my audience. Yeah, I was just explaining to my audience that this was a perfect opportunity to bring Bully Talk with Zeb Pitts back, because of the connections in the bully world is so worldwide right now, and without the ability to have face-to-face interviews, I found this to be the perfect way to get interviews with people who are involved with the bully breed overseas. So I really appreciate you coming on the show today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, man. I follow your show, and I think it's something very positive that you've been contributing to the community over the past years, and you have a following that's worldwide. I mean, it's very informative, and the content is always of good quality. So yeah, it's a good program to listen to.
Just to give my audience a little bit of background information on you, you actually started out with pit bulls, correct?
Yeah, I have. I started out with American Pit Bull Terriers, but before that, my family, as a family tradition, bred Neapolitan Mastiffs, which we still have to this day as well.
Now, how did you find out about the American Bullies?
Well, I got introduced to the American Bully through a very old friend of mine, Michael. Basically, we call each other cousins because I consider him more than just a friend with family, you know. I've been to his wedding. I'm referring to this person. I think is one of the most underrated persons there are in the community, because not many people might know about him these days, but he was one of the pioneers, one of the persons who, put the breed on the map. Referring to Mike Gallo from Devil's Den.
Yeah, for those that don't know Mike, he was really like one of the original innovators of marketing when it came to the American Bully, especially with the websites back then, just the whole concept of really getting the American Bully out there, correct? Yeah.
Me and Mike built a very strong friendship. I also helped him out with his marketing, his Kennel back then. I gave him a different dimension of how he could, promote his breedings and his dogs, and together it was quite a good team. And I mean, we have some really great memories of things that we've done and how we started, creating the breeder was on fire back then, when you started seeing like the early beginnings of the American Bully. It was great. There was such a pure and an honest following of people who are really in it for the passion, you know what I mean?
Exactly know what you mean. And just thinking back then, how did you get involved with different groups back then?
Look, basically, I started importing the first dogs through Mike, obviously, into Europe. And they were the first American Bullies to come to Europe. And then I was visiting very often Mike in New York. And through Mike, he introduced me to a number of people as well. And obviously, I started giving my fair share of contribution to what I thought, could be the future and the direction of the breed back then. Even how we started referring to them as American Bullies, emphasizing that, listen, it's about time we need to cut off from referring to these dogs as bully-style pit bulls because, there's something else. And that's when we started emphasizing on the importance of, identifying ourselves as breeders of American Bully. This was before the clubs and the registries. Back then there was a few clubs that started popping out, but one of the most predominant ones, which I was part of as well, was the Elite Edge.
And during that time, you were known as Coleon Kennels, correct?
I still am. My kennel still exists, but as I said, I breed for passion, and when we do in-house breedings here, I probably either keep the entire litter or I place dogs at other breeder friends. I try to make sure that I always have ample stock of my blood around, just in case I need it. You know what I mean? The difference between the States and here is, logistical problems, shipping the dogs. Many people say, okay, it's easy, ship a dog out, but nobody understands how much stress a dog gets once they're on a plane. You know what I mean? People tend to forget
especially
that dogs
travel,
have great hearing.
It can be very stressful in the travel.
Dogs have great hearing capabilities, and people tend to forget that when they're also traveling by plane. I mean, I personally, I would put ear buds inside the dog's ears because I know they would be suffering with the different levels of pressures and sounds that humans can't hear. But that's a very small part of the reasons. The reasons that I'm seeing as well today are that the blood that I am interested in and the style of dog that I'm interested in is becoming more of a rare dog to find, because a lot of new people are falling in for the fads, for the most marketed dogs, and some lines are literally being overbred, and you're seeing the same results by the same people. You know what I mean?
Is that a fear that you have, that you find dogs that are not of quality being introduced into the breed stock?
Well, besides that, let's backtrack and go back to when we're talking about the groups and before the clubs. Before the clubs and the registries, as I said, there was a real interest in producing these Hulk-looking dogs. These athletes, these bodybuilders. And back then we didn't have the social media platforms we had today, so it was either the MSN boards or it was through email and photos. It was very hard to communicate between breeders and especially people from overseas. This is also good to mention that a lot of people would get burnt by being shown pictures of a dog, and then they would get the dog and it wouldn't look nothing like the pictures, you know what I mean? So I learned from my experiences and also from advising other people that the best thing is when you're going to buy a dog, you fly yourself to the location you're going to pick up the dog, check the dog yourself, and fly back with the dog, so you're already getting acquainted with the animal,
Just thinking back during that time, as someone who came from the American Pit Bull world, did you see a lot of people who were involved with the American Pit Bull at that time have a lot of backlash towards the American Bullies, saying, like, what is this? What are you doing to the breed? Did you hear that?
Yeah, there was. Yes, you did. I think it was more of that the purists wanted to keep the APBT to its standard, which I am in full agreement of that, and this is why I was an advocate of actually having this breed recognized as its own, I mean, I say to this day that this breed is now completely separate to the American Pit Bull Terrier or the American Staffordshire Terrier. And yes, I mean, I would understand their point of view, and that is why eventually the clubs were opened, and the registries, and the breeds were given a home. That's how the breed started to evolve. You know what I mean? But also, like any breed, any breed, and especially this young breed, attracts also the wrong people. And when I say the wrong people, there was a good amount of people who were in it for the right reasons, and there were a lot of people who were in it for the wrong reasons. And many of these people today, you see that they have crossed over to breeding other dogs that have nothing to do with the American Bully. So they're purely in it for commercial reasons. You know what I mean? It's very rare. It's very rare to see the older breeders these days getting involved with these newer, you could call them designer dogs, that because they have principle and they have ethics, because they know exactly what they were breeding back then, and they don't want to go down that lane. Well, anyway, we can get into that a bit later in our conversation,
Yeah. Just talk about the first bully that you ever got. Rumble. Was that your first bully, correct?
The first American Bully, that I was blessed to have. His name was Rumble. He was produced by Mike from Devil's Den, and he was a Manu grandson. His father was Devil's Den Samson, and his mother was Grumpy's Edge Macy. He would fit in the pocket category of today, as he would be a pocket variety dog. He was a very short dog, but he was a little rhino. From the moment he stepped off the plane, the dog was very, very impressive. And beyond his structure, and he was a very correct dog too, he was very, very bully. And the dog, the one thing that impressed me with the dog was, out of all the dogs that I've had in the past, say from then, which were predominantly pit bulls, the character and the temperament that dog had won the hearts not only of my family, but every person that met him along the way. And he was, the poster child for the breed here when the breed started to be introduced. I mean, unfortunately, we lost Rumble to cancer a couple of weeks ago, and to this day, it's affected my family very badly, because he became a member of the family. He was referred to as the little man. He was literally, like a little person that you would be able to hang out with, and he knows how you're feeling. I mean, there was something special about that dog. I mean, and I'm sure that it's not just him. It's many, many other dogs that I've come across, American Bullies, have something special, The temperament with these dogs, with pure American Bullies, is out of this world. And that is one of the things that not many people care to mention. This breed is so special because it is the ultimate companion. I mean, besides the looks, you know, and the extreme physique and the bodybuilder looks, it's all about the temperament. Remember, we're coming from a breed, two other breeds that are predominantly, you know, dogs. That's what trained to be athletes in the pit. So having dogs now that are much calmer dogs, and I'm not saying that the dogs don't have gameness, because I can assure you there were moments in times where Rumble was under threat by another dog, would be walking out, and the dog, you know, would stand there. I'm sure he would be able to protect himself if it got down to that. So I wouldn't say that the dog was a cur or he lacked any dominance, because even from seeing his father, when I had seen his father the first time, Samson, I was totally impressed. I mean, he was the kind of dog that I was looking for, you know, a bulkier version of a pit bull, okay, with a bigger head, with a much thicker neck, a heavier set dog, thicker bone, girth, a wider rib cage. For me, it's like I won the lottery when I saw that dog the first time. And I mean, today I refer to those photos and seeing the dogs I had, you know, back then, and I say to myself, hey, I wish people, you know, tend to look back at the past and see where they're going today, because today it's going out of the window. I mean, all the flaws that we used to be careful of not introducing back then, today they're just, you know, being considered, yeah, whatever, you know what I mean? It's all right for a dog to have an underbite. It's all right for a dog to be slightly easty-westy. I mean, all this stuff that we would, you know, be very careful to keep away from in our breedings, and even the dogs that we selected or promoted, you know what I mean?
Is that very frustrating to you to see what is going on, in your opinion, with the breed today?
Yes, it's very frustrating.
With the flaws that you see?
Yes. From the lack of experience that people have being introduced into this breed. I mean, you get people who know nothing about breeding, they buy their first dogs, and they expect that those dogs are good stud dogs, and then they start breeding back to back their stock, and, you know, we start getting all these flaws inbuilt with them, you know. I mean, did we ever imagine that we're going to have American Bullies with a wrinkle on top of the nose? I mean, what you know?
What was the back then? Just thinking back to back then in the beginning, what was the dog outside of Rumble that really impressed you?
Okay. I mean, a bit later on produced, but he was a very impressive dog, and I really, really liked him. And his name was Pokemon. And that dog, I mean, I still remember that dog to today. I think he's still alive as well. But Pokemon was a fantastic dog. And these dogs that, to me, they emphasize and represent the silhouette of the breed. You know, when you look at these dogs, and you know, you put them also through, they have today you can't do that. 10 dogs from different kennels, you put them side by side, and you think they're a different breed in themselves, which is it's a non-starter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When just going back to the early stages, when did you first start judging?
I started judging the APBT a bit before I got introduced to the American Bully, but there were local shows out here. First show that I judged for the American Bully was in Thailand. There was the Thailand Bully Convention, and then then on, I judged in Ireland, in Sweden, in France, in Holland. My last international gig was in Guadalajara, in Mexico. There were around 300 dogs there. That was in 2015, if I'm not mistaken.
Was that one of the biggest shows you were a part of?
It was a big show. But to be honest with you, the record number of dogs that I judged in my career was the UKC Italian Nationals for the American Pit Bull Terrier, which there were about 340 dogs in Colonia. It was in November of 2015. I believe I was the first non-American judge to judge UKC Nationals for the American Pit Bull Terrier out here.
Who was your mentor when you started judging?
To be honest with you, my mentor, I have a number of mentors, and I would love to give credit to them. One of the people that I look up to, also with the great knowledge that he's contributed, and every time I meet him, I tell him I am your student, and I will always remain your student, is Skip Miller.
Oh, okay. Just thinking about at the time when you were judging, and during that time when kennel clubs were starting to pop up, why was it important for you to start a kennel club in Europe?
All right. In 2008, we founded the EBKC. Out here, there weren't any shows, and one could easily say, then a show from another club and from another country. Then the answer to that is that we want to recognize the breed officially out here by an association that is registered within a European country and is given recognition. I mean, one thing that people forget is when foreign registries, right, from other countries go into other continents, they are not recognized by legal entities or by authorities. They're considered as foreign entities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For example, the AKC has a reciprocal agreement with the FCI. The FCI is the governing body of kennel clubs worldwide and national kennel clubs. And again, they would not recognize the breed unless the AKC would have recognized the breed. And since the National Kennel Club in the United States is the American Kennel Club, right, and they would not recognize the American Bully, then we said, okay, I mean, we need to have an association out here registered and trademarked in Europe that officially recognizes the breed out here. Now, that, I believe, was the second organization in the world after the EBKC that recognized the breed of the American Bully.
What are some of the goals of the EBKC?
Club. The vision for the club was, first and foremost, to create a community out here and assist breeders, European breeders, with them growing and breeding these dogs. Also, acting as advocates when it comes into situations of legislations within their countries, which we do from a daily basis, and also helping them out with legal aid, of assisting them of what they need to do in situations where their dogs are at risk. Because remember, since you are dealing now with different countries, each country has its own legislation regarding breeds. So some countries, unfortunately, enforce BSL. So yes, we would play a major role in providing documentation and also proof that these dogs, are what they say they are, and like that, legal entities will documentation and say, okay, this is coming from an official organization which is registered with a European member state, and yes, we recognize this document. So it goes beyond the shows and the registry and all that. Our club, first and foremost, is there to be the home of the breed in Europe. And that was, from day one, the first mantra that we had,
Just thinking about some of the things that we talked about off air before, in order for a dog to be part of the Kennel Club, they must be inspected. And why is that important to you?
Yeah. Look, it's twofold. Unfortunately, I'm telling you from the situation that we are in at the moment. Every kennel club in this breed is under fire. And I say, when I say under fire, why? Because some dogs are slipping by and, not being checked. Some dogs are being registered with false information just to fly by. I mean, the advice that I give to people all the time is, listen, if you know that this dog does not form part of this breed and should not be associated with our kennel club, then before we catch you, before we find out what you're doing, just don't, you're not welcome. Because one thing that I'm not worried is by not being popular, with people. Some decisions that have to be taken might not be popular amongst certain people, but at the end of the day, they're for the best interest of the breed. Another thing is, with all the importations that are going on from overseas, with all these all the paperwork that we see today, there's so many registries, you know what I mean? We have the policy of inspecting a dog individually, We don't look at the lines of the pedigree first and foremost. We see that secondary first, analyzing the dog. Why do we do that? Because, seeing dogs on a photo is one thing, but seeing the dogs in real life is another, you know what I mean? And if we would have to segregate and seclude and pinpoint on one dog in a line, in a foreign line on a pedigree, I would have to do it to another 50 dogs. So that's where you draw the line, that you individually inspect each dog that is applying to register with the Kennel Club.
Just thinking about that process, is there a fear, though, that you might not see it because of the lineage or the background? Because that dog might look at a certain way to fit the standards, but what's in his DNA will bring out certain...
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about the DNA issue. We discussed this yesterday, okay? I mean, okay, you can enforce a dog. Let's say we get a dog, you import a dog. Let's say you import a dog to Europe, right? And we enforce the DNA on the dog. We get the dog DNA. We will have the DNA profile of the dog, fine. But the DNA will not be able to verify for me the parentage, the parents of the dog in particular. So when people say, okay, listen, you have to DNA the dog. I mean, fine, but the DNA is only going to create a DNA profile for that animal. You need to DNA the parents first, and then get to that animal. You understand? And that's where people are misled at times. That is where people say, oh, the dog is being DNA'd. Listen, for crying out loud, first and foremost, if you really want to do things right, you have to get the parents' DNA profile, and then from there you'll be able to certify that the DNA of this animal is genuinely from that parentage. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of misconceptions with people with excuses saying of what is what, you know. Again, we are under fire, I believe, at the moment. The real American Bully breeders and the kennel clubs that advocate the real American Bully are under fire because, unfortunately, a lot of persons who have not only nothing to do with dog breeding or should not even be let close to an animal, because yes, I consider it animal cruelty, are acting as false leaders and attracting all these new people to breeding and buying these type of dogs that are very unhealthy, that they have breeding issue, they have small hearts, they have dwarfism, the whole list. I mean, listen, it's not just I'm president of a club and I'm saying, oh, because you don't like those kind of dogs. From a personal point of view, no, I don't like those kind of dogs. But from the side of being a president of an international organization, and it's my duty and responsibility to speak out regarding this issue, yes, I say those dogs should not be associated at all with any type of bull breed, because they're designer dogs, and unfortunately these designer dogs are a fad, and yes, they're not being bred with a purpose. There's no direction or breed standard set or a purpose for these dogs. They're just being, haphazardly bred to see which is the dog which has most flaws, it seems. I mean, you want to see a dog run, fetch, bark, move, have basic movement. I mean, I would be shaking my head when I see some of the videos I see on social media. Dogs being pushed in the carts, dogs being held on artificial turf, like they are some puppet, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, poor animals, because I'm an animal lover, and I feel bad because the dog is innocent. The dog has nothing, is not at fault here. It's the man who's creating these problems,
It's interesting that you say that because I was going to ask you what sparked you to actually come out and talk about that in a video where you were discussing your displeasure of what is going on with the.
I tell you what sparks. If they are so adamant that they are doing something right and they are the best and they are, they're trying to establish themselves, then fine. Go do it someplace else. Don't associate it with my breed. You know what I mean? Don't associate it with the American Bully. Because at the end of the day, many people have sacrificed, have given time, have put in work, put in effort to establish this breed, and now seeing it all go away because of this relentless animal abuse that is going on, it breaks my heart, of course, because this is my life. I cannot just sit there and watch and see people who are coming into this breed, and being misled and miseducated on what is an American Bully, and that's why I keep insisting, do not associate those type of dogs with the American Bully breed, because it's not what they're about.
So if they had their own separate lane, would that matter to you? Well, in other words, if they were not a part of the gene pool of the American Bully.
One, how can I explain myself? Not only it wouldn't matter. I mean, I wish they wouldn't be doing what they're doing, but I just, at this point, I would not want them associated with anything that has to do with the bull breeds in general. Okay, and I'm talking bull breeds because I love all bull breeds. I love the American Bully. I love the American Pit Bull Terrier. I love the American Bulldog. I love the British Bulldog. All these bull breeds that we have in our kennel club, for me, are all to heart. And when I see flawed breeding and people really, breeding faults and deformities, yes, I mean, it's not talking about just me, speaking out for the American Bully. It's me speaking as a dog fancier and a dog breeder in general. Those people should not be even allowed to own an animal, because that's animal cruelty.
Now, one of the things that the EBKC does is they throw their own shows. And why is that important to keep it in your hands and not in allowing other people to host EBKC shows?
All right. First off, I'm going to divulge how and why we have this approach. One, our Kennel Club, okay, is again, it's a volunteer organization. We've now, after the past couple of years, managed to establish ourselves properly with a physical office, with staff, and yes, when we started throwing our shows, we saw the need of keeping it transparent. Now, if you know that other kennel clubs around the world also have their own shows, and one of the main reasons to that is keeping the competition clean and transparent. Now, I'm not going to stay here and point any fingers, but you see it on a daily basis, You see, people hosting shows who are technically not even into dogs, They take the opportunity to do it. They might own one or two dogs. They decide to organize their own show, and they don't know the principal ethics of dog showing when it comes to when the judge arrives. People should not be associating themselves with the judge, prior to a show. Basic rules. People should not be dining with the judge, or a show host should not be allowed to show his own dogs in the show that he's hosting. You see this stuff every day, and yeah, it's not fair. You know what I mean? And that's not what we are about. But that is not healthy competition. How can you organize a show and then you show your own dogs in the show, that you're organizing, and you come and tell me that it's clean? They are also shooting themselves in the foot doing that, because if their dog would place, there leaves a room of doubt whether the show is clean or not.
I can see the logic in that, and like you said, it and with the Kennel Club, as yourself being the one who actually puts on the show, you're in control of what goes on with your brand and who represents your brand.
We have, it's more than a brand. It is the code of ethics of the club. A brand is a product of the business, okay? We are a kennel club, first and foremost. And when I say we are a kennel club, we have members, we assist members, we have a tight-knit, family-oriented environment. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm always approachable with people when they need any advice. I'm telling you, my phone at times doesn't stop ringing, and it wouldn't be business-related. To my businesses over here, it would be dog-related. Many a time I had to stop a business meeting because someone would call me over some advice on either a puppy or on a breeding he's about to do, which I'm very passionate about. And yeah, I give all my time to anyone who calls whenever they need advice, and the same goes for me. I am don't see myself as some professor. I'm a normal person who fell in love with this breed and felt needed to contribute back into this community. And my knowledge, I share my knowledge with everyone I can, and at the same time, I'm always there to learn from people around me who have been also around the breed or around sister breeds, which I hold dearly to my heart. And yes, I keep on developing my knowledge base on the subject. I never sit there and say, I'm the prophet, or I'm the person who knows everything. No, that's one thing in life, that you never stop learning and you never stop getting more and more knowledge from people around you. I see myself as a student of the breed, and also, this is one thing. I love to associate myself to people who have knowledge and have experience to bring in to the club and contribute. And that is why we have so many judges coming now into our club. And so many judges are contributing with experience for the club. I mean, we cherish the seminar concept, that we educate the people who come to the shows as well. We're also working on a number of projects which include proper literature, proper books with real information, not just advertising or breeding promotions that people are doing in these publications, but real information that people can look into and learn from, you know. And this is why I also made an effort of bringing out people into Europe to come and judge our shows who are valuable members of the community and who also can contribute a lot in the knowledge base of the breed. And whenever we did a show, we made sure of that it was not just a dog show, but it was literally an event, an educational event, so people in Europe are able to learn from the experiences of the person that is coming as our guest to judge.
Speaking on that, this September you're going to have the Euro Championships in Napoli, Italy.
Yeah, we have the Euro Champions Cup, which is generally held every September after the summer season. We hold this event. We have a number of events spread out in Europe, and this one in particular is it's a double event where we have multiple breeds competing. So our shows are never just the American Bully. Our shows see healthy competition from the American Pit Bull Terrier and from the American Bulldog. We have also added now the French Bulldog and the British Bulldog to our show classes. We've seen a fantastic response. It's safe to say as well that there's a high number of pit bull fanciers which have some beautiful specimens. So yes, we love the fact that the American Bully breed can compete in the ring alongside other older breeds. So that is one thing that we love with the multi-breed event. Yes, we have an event on the 24th September, and we decided to go back to Napoli. It's being held in San Giuseppe Vesuviano, which is close to the Vesuvio volcano. Napoli is a beautiful, beautiful place. We've had shows there in the past, and we felt the need to go back there. So we have decided to invite a very, very, very important person within the American Bully community, and that's the Honorable Ron Ramos. I've known Ron for a number of years, and Ron has informed me that he would be available in visiting other countries in the coming months, and we had a meeting with our board of judges, and yes, most definitely Ron accepted our invitation. Following this event, the next event are the EBKC Internationals, which are being held in Holland on the 19th November, and we have as one of our judges Mr. Al Rivea, who will be judging for us that annual event. The next event will be in February 19th of 2018, and that will be held in Belgium. But I have so far limited information regarding the judges lineup for that event. But yes, I mean, we do have some great mentors and judges coming along to visit us out here in Europe. Our last show, the Eurobull Expo, we had Robert Lee from Bully Market, and the show prior to that we had Moses Barrow as well. So yes, I mean, it's I'm proud to say that we have a fantastic judges lineup. And also, it's very important to say that every show that we have, it's always an American judge and a European judge. So we always are giving our judges rotation. We never use the same judges back to back. And this is very important because 99.9% you're going to have the same competitors traveling from one country to another, and it is only fair that you give them a different judge for the event. You cannot go to show number 1 and you have Judge A, and you travel 2 weeks after to show number 2 and you find Judge A again over there. It's unethical according to our code of ethics.
That's a great point. I really like that concept of bringing different judges in for different shows.
Yeah, when we do that as well, our judges love the invite. I mean, we make sure that it's worth their time. I know how hard it is to travel. From my own personal experiences, so we make sure that traveling out here is worth their while. And they get to visit the sites, the cultural aspects of the country, and we give them a warm welcome. I mean, one thing that we're famous for is that every judge that comes here complains that they eat too much and they end up going back home with a couple of pounds more. But that's how we do it over here. We love our food.
Just speaking on your country, what is life like in your country for people who have never been there?
Okay, so I'm an Italian and from Italian parents, and my parents decided to come to an island which is off the coast of Sicily, which is actually a republic in itself. It is called Malta. Malta is a member of the European Union and is the mecca of online gaming. All the big online gaming companies have their head offices in Malta. Malta is a 365 days a year sunny place. It's the country where many people choose to come and retire. What else can I say? It's very famous for some big movies that were filmed over here, such as Gladiator, Assassin's Creed, Troy, The Count of Monte Cristo. What else? Bush and Gorbachev back then had come here and made peace after the Cold War. So yeah, Malta is quite a special place. And Malta also defended Europe in the Great Siege. So there's a lot of history behind this little island that I live on.
Just thinking, growing up when you were younger, can you remember the tough times and how you overcame it? Or did you have any tough times growing up in Malta?
To be honest with you, look, I was raised in a very loving family. I am the eldest of three children. I have two other brothers. One of my brothers is into marketing, and he works with another local gaming company over here. And my other brother is a chef by profession and is a restaurant owner. To be honest with you, I had a pretty good childhood. You know how it is. Every child goes through his stages. I mean, everyone got into trouble when he was young. And one thing that I can remember from my youth was the first time I set my eyes on a pit bull, and that was when I was 14 years old. I actually was in reformatory when this happened, and we were out playing soccer in the field near the convent where we were staying, and this stray female brindle pit bull came across, and we took her in. And from then onwards, I knew that was the breed for me. So yeah, the breed's very close to my heart, and I grew up always with dogs in our family. Always, always, always. I mean, I'm telling you, I met up with my family yesterday for a barbecue, and my mother's there asking me, listen, when are you going to have puppies? I want another Rumble. I mean, that dog was so special to my mom. So I actually have my mother asking me now for another puppy. So But Rumble lived actually a really good life. He helped my mom as well over time overcome a very rough period in her life where she had cancer. She beat the cancer, and the dog was always there for her. And that is how Rumble ended up living at my mom, because he was like a therapy dog for her, you know. And that is why it's like when he passed away, it's like I lost a little brother, you know what I mean? Because he was more than just a pet for us.
He actually lived 14 years, correct?
Excuse me?
He actually lived
yes,
to be
yes, he
14,
has.
14 years old.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did, and I felt very bad that he was struck with cancer, and we tried every treatment that was here, you know, with the best vets, but we couldn't save him.
How did your mom feel about the loss?
Very bad, to be honest with you. We all felt it. I'm telling you. Look, this is why I get so passionate for this breed. I know this breed inside out, and I know how special it is. And I say that this breed is the best breed in the world. The American Bully. Once you get to know the real American Bully, you will not choose any other breed. I mean, this is how special this breed is. This is why I speak so ferociously and so defensively when it comes to the breed, because I believe, you know, that if I'm not going to speak up and say what I feel about it, it's going to, in the long term, it's going to have irrevocable damages to what the breed is, you know.
Just speaking on that, where do you see the breed in the next 5 years? Do you see it getting better or getting worse?
I believe that the true American Bully is still here and is here to stay. And the true breeders and fanciers of the American Bully will remain, and the so-called smoke and mirrors will fade away. I mean, these stupid trends and fads that there are at the moment, they will separate from our breed, and they will go their own way, and they will phase out because they do not have proper foundation and proper belief of what is a dog meant to be.
I really appreciate your time today coming on Bully Talk with Zaire Pitts. Is there any last words you want to leave to the bully community about the EBKC and your thoughts of the American Bully?
Look, what I say to everyone, not just speaking as the EBKC, I say it as a person who supports this breed and advocates for this breed. Whatever you do, make sure it's something positive, not negative, you know. And this is something I told you earlier before we started this interview. I had no intention of coming on here, and as many people do over and over on social media, go out and say, we're the best, you know, they're the worst, and, you know, point fingers and throw mud. At the end of the day, there's a lot of people out there who did a lot of good for this breed. And that will always outshine the bad things and, you know, the not so good things that people have done. Now, maybe I have too much faith in people, you know, maybe I'm wrong on that, but I do believe that the goodness of people within this breed will come out even more when people stop fighting between each other, people stop fighting between clubs, people stop fighting between breeders, you know, and registries saying this registry is doing that, this registry is doing that, you know, they're all doing bad things. We are all here for the same reason. We're all here to glorify and to promote this breed, this beautiful breed. So let's keep it positive, and that's all I want to say.
Thank you for your time today on Bully Talk with Zaire. That was Mr. Andrea Selvaggi of the European Bully
Selvaggi.
That's right.
Thank you, Zeb.
You kept telling me yesterday, and
Selvaggi.
Selvaggi.
I need to teach you how to speak in Italian. Selvaggi.
Yes, I need to come there and learn a little Italian to eat some great food. I have a coworker who is actually from Italy, and oh my God, she makes the best food.
Yeah, now you need to practice. Practice your Italian. I'll check up on you and make sure you have your diet plan of pasta, of good pizza. Make sure you have a whole diet plan out. So when you're practicing your language, your Italian skills will get better.
I definitely will. The next time we talk, I'm gonna know a little bit of Italian for you.
Okay, that's fantastic.
All right, take care. Enjoy your day.
Thank you, Zeb. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, Bully World, that was Andrea Selvaggi. Again, he is the owner, operator of the European Bully Kennel Club. I really appreciate him coming on today. For the first episode, I'm back for Bully Talk with Zeb, Pitts Blog Talk Radio. Be on the lookout for more interviews for bully enthusiasts overseas. As you can see, he had a wealth of knowledge and information and his passion for the breed. Rest in peace to his boy Rumble, who lived 14 years. American Bully. All bullies should live to be that long and prosperous, in my opinion. And my condolences on your loss on your boy Rumble. Again, thank you for your time. Thank you all for tuning in for the brand new Bully Talk Zeb Pitts Blog Talk Radio show. I'm out.